welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back for another BoshNRoll video. Today I'm playing Modern at the request of Patreon subscriber Nick, and Nick has me playing Miracles. Trusty old Miracles. A deck built around Counterbalance and manipulating the top of your deck so you can counter spells for free. This is historically a Legacy deck built around Sensei's Divining Top. Sensei's Divining Top is banned in Legacy, in large part because of this deck's existence and this interaction. When the Surveil lands came out in Murders at Karlov Manor, Aspiringspike was brewing with Counterbalance in Modern. I had the pleasure of queuing into him when I was on a kind of a train wreck of a brew. Spike obliterated me and even managed to blind reveal a 5 off Counterbalance on a Confusion in the ranks, which was one of the lowlights of my entire life. But I am now playing this deck today. Little less heat on it. There's a new set coming out that comes with the territory of having a long drag in backlog of videos to get out and releasing one a day instead of, streaming 3 or 4 leagues a day. But we get what we get here. And I looked into it. Spike has not had a posted list of this deck since late February, which is 2 months ago at this point, month and a half ago, which probably means he doesn't have much faith in it. But I'm still excited to play it. This is my type of deck, whether it's well positioned in the actual format or not. I don't care. This is going to be a lot of fun. Basically, the goal is keep the board clear and then stick a Planeswalker and win somehow. This deck basically has 3 things in it. It has counter spells, removal, and Planeswalkers. Some of the Planeswalkers also function kind of as removal. And this is absolutely the if you don't die long enough, you'll win somehow deck building that a lot of players hate and I love. I wish there was more to say about this, but there's really not. The concept is very simple. I'm going to try to counter or remove everything and stick a permanent that wins me the game. Let's do it. This is Spike Miracles from Nick. 3-for-1 Trading is having a spring sale from April 10th to 15th. Their whole inventory is 5% off and they offer free worldwide shipping on all orders over $500 or euros. Check out their vast selection of Eternal staples, high-end foils, and sealed product. Use code SPRINGSALE24 to enjoy free, fully insured worldwide shipping and 5% off your order. Excluded from the sale is Outlaws of Thunder Junction, non-MTG sealed product, other sale items, and gaming supplies. Scan the QR code or find them at shop.3for1trading.com. I am on the play in round number 1. I'm going to keep this hand that has a 1-mana interaction spell, the Counterbalance, and then some ways to move the Counterbalance around, or move the top card of my deck around. The Counterbalance hopefully doesn't go anywhere. Opponent has also kept 7, and I have a Meticulous Archive. Solitude, I will keep that around. That card's pretty good at helping me not die in a lot of matchups. Arid Mesa. Blood Crypt. Are we scamming? What's going on here? We're thought seizing. Oh no, my poor Counterbalance, my entire game collapsed just like that. They could gamble and take Solitude or Omen of the Sea and just hope that my Counterbalance is bad. This card's not exactly a Modern staple. I'm doing a lot to try to make it work. Them taking Solitude would be the nuts because I'm drawing another one, but I have Oust as well, so it'd be weird to just take one of those things. Okay. They are betting against card selection and card advantage and betting into Counterbalance. Let's stick it and hope it works. You're in there. Cause problems, please. They had their chance to avoid this. Stomping Ground. We've got some Jund. Wrenn and 6. Well, please counter this. Shit. I've revealed Jace the Mind Sculptor. Resolved Planeswalkers are a weakness of this deck. Generally, most Planeswalkers don't cost 2. I could get Kahira, or I could hold up a Surveil. I think I'd rather Surveil, because I also want to hit land number 4 and try to keep up with Wrenn and 6. Bitter Reunion. Okay. I am not going to try to counter this with Counterbalance, because it's more important for me to hit a land. Hell yeah. We revealed Logic not at random. Getting paid. I would rather use this Surveil land to try to deliver a Jace the Mind Sculptor, which is what happened. Let's go. Hallowed Fountain. Shock it in. Jam Jace immediately. And I'm going to plus targeting myself. I don't want to lose Jace to a Lightning Bolt, which is what happens if you Brainstorm. But if you put him straight up to 5, you get some control over your top card. I will put Polluted Delta to the bottom because it doesn't counter anything. And that's what I'm trying to make happen at this point. They're fetching in the end step. Ooh, their own selection. Who's the Miracle deck now? They got rid of a Fable the Mirror Breaker. That card's really good. And they did not want it. Dwarven Mine. Oh, I might just get comboed. They know I have Solitude, though, so they can't go for this like too hard. All right, let's reveal a 4 to Counterbalance. There are 2 other Jaces in the deck. Terminus. I'm not going to take my chances on flipping Terminus here. I'm just going to pitch this Solitude and wipe this thing out. They knew I could do this. They knew both those cards. They don't know my last card is Solitude right now. They know I'm not going to flip Terminus. And then I am going to activate... I'm going to Brainstorm with Jace. I thought about putting Kahira in hand first to guarantee a 3 on top. Okay, this is fun. Teferi doesn't really do anything. Logic Knot's really good. Terminus doesn't really do anything. Terminus is great if they pass the turn, though. This Meticulous Archive coming into play tapped is actually a huge cramp in my style. I'm going to put back Solitude and Terminus, and then I'm going to archive away the Terminus. I just don't want it, and I do want to hold up Logic Knot, and I do want to hold up Solitude in the future. My top card costs 5 right now. Here's a Dwarven Mine. Ren's getting a land back. Fable. I could have floated a 3 here, and I failed to do that. I am not going to reveal my card. Yeah, this Ren in 6 is a huge problem. It's going to Emblem soon, and then I don't know if I can ever win. I'm going to start with Teferi. Teferi bounces Goblin Shaman. That basically just has to happen. And then I can activate Jace. I could just bounce Dwarf Token, but that'll be back eventually. I'm going to keep Brainstorming. I'm going to put back Meticulous Archive and back up Teferi. Well, there's currently a 3 on top, and I have a close to hard counter in hand. And I can shuffle and select if I need to find a cost that isn't 3. They binned an Archon. Lightning Bolt targeting Teferi. I will not reveal or shuffle. Getting back Wooded Foothills. Then playing Arid Mesa. And they are attacking damage onto Jace. That Lightning Bolt being present in the graveyard is a beating. I am not going to shuffle away Teferi. And my top card underneath this is a land. Not any land, but a tap land. But I still have a Jace activation. I'm going to bounce the Dwarf. And I'm going to Brainstorm with Jace. Terminus on top with Omen of the Sea in hand is powerful. If I put back Archive and Terminus, now I can Terminus at instant speed. They're guaranteed 1 creature here. There it is. They could have up to 3 creatures here if they fetch all the way in on the Dwarven Mines, which I hope they do, honestly. Ren can minus to kill Teferi if they want to punch the hole that way. Dwarves are here. Ren has emblemed, which means they can Indomitable Cruelty or Creativity from the graveyard, or just Lightning Bolt a bunch of times. The top of my deck just costs 6 if they go in on X equals 3 here. Thoughtseize. Well, they can do that any number of times, so not going to reveal. I guess I could just Omen now, flip the Terminus. That's got to be the safest way to do this. Alright, yeah, I'll just Omen now and flip the Terminus. I guess if I had done this first, I had a chance to blind flip on the Thoughtseize, so yeah, I misstepped this a little bit. Oh, get rid of these. I don't know the top card now. I bottomed the Meticulous Archive on the Scry 2. The board is clear. Bummed I missed a chance to blind counter that. That would have been really good. Lightning Bolt targeting Teferi. I will blind reveal on this one. Omen of the Sea is my top card. Teferi's gone. That means they can't persist this turn if they have a plan to shove Archon into play right now. Okay, they are just passing. We got through the turn. Omen of the Sea is a good one to have around. I'm going to keep Brainstorming here. As Fate Sealing them barely matters because lands are good and then spells are also good. I'm going to put Counterbalance and Opt on top. in that order. Counterbalance first, or Counterbalance put back first. Then the opt is actually on top. And I am going to get Kahira. Now I can just blind counter, well, not blind, but set up counter any of the 1-drops, the Thoughtseize, the Lightning Bolt stuff. And I can manipulate into countering it too. Bitter Reunion. You may discard a card if you do draw 2 cards. Creatures gain haste. I don't think I'm going to fight over this. It's card selection, but it's not card advantage. Okay, there's the Persist. Now I'm going to Omen. They were testing me with a 2. Put on top, and then put on top. So I draw the opt here, and Counterbalance is my top card. Counter that. Miracle Gaming. And if I float this 2 on top of my deck forever, then the Persist doesn't matter. But I do have to actually get ahead somehow. I've drawn the Counterbalance. I'm going to activate Jace. Put back. Land Counterbalance. Leave that 2 on top. And I could just cast Kahira. Or I could end step Solitude. Alright, I'm just going to pass. This is where the comments always start yelling at me. Plus the Jace, you have to win somehow. But that's not actually how you win games with this deck. I'm going to counterbalance the Fable. I can't guarantee a 3 on top. They're almost out of those. And I do want to keep... Maybe I don't need to be keeping this counterbalance around this aggressively. I'm going to fetch an island and then Brainstorm. Ooh, Brainstone, that's busted. Okay, put back Counterbalance and Oust. I want to kind of trick them here into casting a 1. Okay, there's a 1 on top with a 2 under it. I can get to the 2 in a variety of ways. And now I have a threat on the board. Lightning Bolt, that's countered. Blammo. Oust on top of the deck. Now they're in the squeeze. It's not a lock, but it is a squeeze. And I'm just not going to spend mana on anything that could break up the control that I have right now. Attack with Kahira. Damage is being done. We're on the board. My top card costs 2. I am going to plus them with Jace now. Bitter Reunion. They can keep that. My top card costs 2. Reveal. Bang. And now the game is just all about tracking and predicting what they might actually have, what they might try to do, what I do have, where they are, how reliably I can move them around. I'm going to brainstorm with Jace again. I'm back to brainstorming. Counterbalance and opt on top again. Or oust, not opt. Opt is in my hand. And I can Thundering Falls the oust away, or I could just skip my land drop. I'm going to skip my land drop. They're almost dead. I just need to not die this turn. Oh yeah, miracle shit. Counterbalance held up surprisingly well against that Ren emblem. That was impressive. A Subtlety is a maybe against Ren. It's a 3/3 body that pressures Ren, in addition to countering it in an emergency, or at least taking the pressure off for a turn. Veto, definitely in. It's good against basically all cards in their deck. I don't think I want these Wear Tears, Stern Scoldings. Definitely don't want Curse Totem. Terminus had one moment where it was good, but it will mostly be not good, I think. The Oust also super medium. Subtleties and Vetoes in go down to 2 Terminus, no Oust. This Jund build of the deck might pivot onto creatures or do some other plan. I don't really know how creativity is constructed in all of its forms right now, but I think I have enough going on here. I'm going to do it. That was a really satisfying Miracle game, actually. I felt behind from turn 2 when they resolved Ren. Okay, there are 23 lands in this deck, which means 22 of the 53 cards in my deck are still lands. I'm on the draw. Opt gives me 2 looks. If I get to Omen and Sea, we're cooking. I'm going to keep this. If they Thoughtseize me and want to take Opt, I think that's pretty aggressive and probably correct. But we'll see if it works out for them. Because if I just draw a land, I don't care about Opt anymore. Yeah, they're just taking Veto. They're not trying to mana screw me. They're just fighting the fight. And good thing they didn't try to mana screw me. It would not have gone well. Looted Delta. I'll give them that information right away, because I would like to Meticulous Archive and get additional selection here. And they didn't run in 6. Good news. Archive. Oh no, Big Teferi. I don't want to bin this, but I also don't want to draw it. I'm going to keep it. I have long-term plans here. I have Opt and Omen of the Sea to keep looking. Logic Knot is a counter this turn and step fetch. Commercial District, getting some selection of their own. Been to Dwarven Mine, that's one down in their Ren and 6 deck, but also having fewer of those in the deck is exciting. Logic, not. Not today. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha. They could have cast that last turn and didn't, which is pretty exciting. Do I want to Omen of the Sea in my upkeep to get the 3 looks before I even draw? Or I could just draw opt. So if I draw and opt, I draw a card that I would scry, and then I scry the second card I would see. I think this ends up being the same thing, but the upside of drawing the land is so big, yeah, I'll just draw a card. Nice. And I don't think I need to Teferi here. I think I want to use this turn to Omen plus opt and just get totally set up. Okay, Fable of the Mirror Breaker. I'm going to opt and see if I can find an answer to this. Counterbalance. I want that eventually. I guess I'm about to Omen and see a bunch of cards. All right, I'll put Counterbalance on top. And then Fable can resolve. Teferi will bounce the Goblin. All right, Dwarven Mine. Teferi will die to a Dwarf. And they'll have a creature left over. Yeah, I could lose this, like, next turn. Does Basic Planes matter? Not in terms of cards I'm trying to draw and cast right now. I'm going to hit Island and do the Omen. Dovin's Veto, Meticulous Archive. I want both of these cards. Top. The Veto is a little awkward because I have to tap out of it and then it might not be good enough, but I also don't really want them goblining out here. Okay, I'm going to play Teferi and bounce the Goblin Shaman. Lots of Meticulous Archives. I do feel slightly behind at this third Dwarven Mine. I'm going to bin this backup Teferi. I don't think that card's actually that good. I guess that backup Teferi could have bounced an Archon of Cruelty that came into play this turn. Yeah, so if they Archon this turn, I would rather have Teferi in my hand. If they don't Archon this turn, I would rather not have Teferi in my hand. So it's like, just bet against or plan for the worst. Okay. That's not the worst. Ren picks up Dwarven Mine. They don't have enough mana to go off this turn now. I don't feel bad for the mill anymore. Drawing an Omen is sick. I'm going to start with Counterbalance. Getting this Counterbalance into play with Omen and Archive available. It's a lot of options. Solitude on top. That is just a good card that I'm happy to have. And with Dovin's Veto available, I'm not that sweaty about finding something that could line up with creativity. They picked up Dwarven Mine. If they creativity for X equals 2 and I reveal 5, I'm just going to high five everyone I've ever met. They're fetching. They do have one more mine. Please stop at 5. Please stop at 5. If they go all the way to 6, I can veto it without worrying about Veil of Summer. But if they stop at 5, I just get it for free. That's so funny. Oh my god. I'd like to reveal for Counterbalance, please. Creativity in the graveyard. Freezies. Okay, now I can Omen of the Sea and try to hit my untapped land drop to cast Terminus. This would be a great turn to clear the board. Wowee, we did it all. Top. Keep the Solitude, draw the land. I do not know what my top card is. I'm also not worried about it. I'm just going to Terminus here. All of their Dwarven Mines are in play. Stomping Ground tap. And then after playing Stomping Ground, picking up a land with Ren. Now I'm going to have to beat a Ren emblem again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Big T, let's go. The boss. Draw a card. If they double bolt it and I don't have a 1 on top right now, that would be pretty annoying. But if I get to untap, I'm representing Dovin's Veto. And we get to untap. Cool. Now I have Teferi in play. I can tuck this red next turn, and then it's not going to emblem. Picking up lands. Fetching and stuff. Yeah, they might just cast Archon here. Oh, tapped source. Tapped Black Source is good news for me. Yeah, I don't actually have a good plan for a hardcast Archon right now. I'm glad that didn't happen. They binned Thoughtseize. I'm actually going to scry 2 here. I have the mana around. We're in a spot where not getting hardcast Archon is really nice. Interesting. Do I want another Planeswalker in play? I guess I can just do both. Bottom the land, top the Veto. Okay, I'm going to play Jace first. And then I can counter a lightning bolt. I can't counter two things because I'm going to minus Teferi this turn. I'm going to activate Jace. They could have Orcish Bowmaster. Or no, they can't. They're a creativity deck. That's not a card they can play. What happens if I put Jace on top? I don't think that matters. I'm going to put back Thundering Falls and Counterbalance, leave a 2 on top. And then I'm going to tuck Wrenn. I can counter a Veil of Summer. I can't counter 2 Veil of Summers. I didn't find a 1, which is what I was looking for here. I'm going to veto the Veil and hope they don't have 2 of these. Ouch, this is really bad now. Well, shit. They're going to have a Wrenn. They draw 2 cards. Both of my Planeswalkers are exposed. That hurt. I was really looking for a 1 off that Jace activation. Okay. Play a land tapped, and I am completely exposed. The walls are down. They didn't Lightning Bolt me, though. They played Scalding Tarn from hand. I don't have a 3 on top. Fable's in. Lightning Bolt. Shit! And now their land can also... Any land in their hand also kills Jace. Sucks so hard. Oh, they plussed Wrenn. Okay. They didn't emblem this turn. If they have a creativity, though, they do have a creature. Well, I have Solitude. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so I'm drawing Counterbalance here. Activating Jace. Still haven't found a 1. Put back Thundering Falls and Counterbalance. Play the land. And then I just pass. I can Solitude on their turn, I guess. And step fetch. Getting another Surveil land. Into Persist. Fable does Fable stuff. I'm watching my clock as much as anything else here. In case I need a game 3, I would like to be ahead on time. They just emblemed and kept Wrenn in play, because that's how that works. I should have done this before combat, or in combat before attacks. Let's Solitude this thing. X equals 1, targeting their treasure. Yep, turned out that was very important. Dovin's veto that. They can Veil from the graveyard. Oh, they didn't. Alright, that's fun. They could Creativity from the graveyard. Right. Not going to show them that there's a 2 on top. And that was such a spew, just missing that half a step. Okay, I gotta find a 4. I don't play a lot of those. Meticulous Archive. I get 2 looks at a 4. Land to the graveyard. Blind reveal something. Come on, Jace. Revealed Counterspell. Alright, well, they're gonna get a monster. Terastodon. Cool. That's not an Archon of Cruelty. Destroy up to 3 non-creature permanents. For each permanent put into a graveyard this way, its controller makes a 3/3 elephant. And they could destroy my 3 things and give me 9 power. They could destroy some of their own stuff. Yeah, they destroyed my Counterbalance and my Jace. They did not destroy any of their own lands, which I think is a free roll to get a 3/3. They got a nasty Terasti over there. I'm drawing Counterspell, which we knew. So I bounce Terastodon and mush them. Attack my opponent, and Wrenn in 6. Okay, they didn't Lightning Bolt any of my creatures or anything. They could replay this Terastodon, but it would tap them out of green to do it. Are they out of lands in hand? I honestly lost track. I am up a full 2 minutes on them at this point. I'm ahead in most important resources right now. Creativity. They could Veil of Summer. Still going to counter it. Okay. They just must not have a land in their hand. Because veiling that is better than replaying it, even if you can retrace it. Unless you're worried about drawing your monster. Wrenn in 6, shit. Alright, well. They have another land. But they are also dead on board if they don't do something to stabilize it. And that land represents Lightning Bolt. So they are stabilized if they want to be. Well, not completely, but they're not dead on board. My line to dead on board, by the way, is get and cast Kahira, and then bounce Reflection of Kiki-Jiki, which buffs Solitude. And Subtlety and Terminus. Neither of these cards are good. This Terminus is almost good. Subtlety. Do I keep this for the Terastodon? Yeah, I'll put Subtlety on top. Okay. Draw for turn. Jace. Bounce Reflection of Kiki-Jiki. And if I attack with everything, yeah, their bolt target is the same regardless. Just gonna go face here. We got GG's. I'm a terrible player. Good luck in the rest of the league. Not me, terrible. They're saying about themselves. I wonder what they perceived that they did wrong, but okay. I think that, I mean, they definitely could have just turned one of these Dwarven Mines into an elephant and then pick up Dwarven Mine, make another blocker, and then like be set up. I'm an old school gamer. I remember when Terastodon was one of the best things that there was to cheat into play with a Show and Tell or a Reanimate, and blowing up a bunch of your own lands to make sure that the Terastodon holds, even if the big one itself gets removed, is part of playing that card. Okay. Strong Miracle Gaming. Let's go. Win your spot in the World Series of Poker main event in Las Vegas. Club GG is providing 100 exclusive packages between April 1st and June 30th for those who want to test their skills against the best. Each package includes the $10,000 main event entry fee plus $2,000 for travel. Use code BOSH for a free 7-day premium membership that includes entry to these satellite tournaments. I'm on the play in round number 2. Gonna keep this hand. Counterbalance Jace the Mind Sculptor 5 lands. The perfect hand doesn't exist. I'm gonna play Meticulous Archive, get some selection. Now we're curving out. Let's party. Windswept Heath. Overgrown Tomb. Some Yogg? What's going on over there? Oh, Zoo. Actual factual Zoo. This is a matchup where Terminus is a powerful card, I dare say. Alright, Counterbalance. Hope there's a 1 on top. That's their whole deck. They probably have some 2s like Tribal Flames. Territorial Kavu. 1s and 2s are both good on top right now. Terminus, always the nuts. Yeah, this must be Domain Zoo if they have Flooded Strand in their Wild Nacatl deck. Trying to do something here. Fetch the Jeskai Triome and just go off right now. Or don't fetch, don't play any cards. Also a deal. I'm going to try to shove Teferi. They might be representing Stubborn Denial or something. There's some reason they didn't fetch and deal more damage and then also cast a spell, but I'm here to curve out. Cause problems. I might have a 1 on top, then I get 2 things. Stubborn Denial, show them the 1. Meticulous Archive on top. They got me. All good. And they know the coast is clear. I wonder if that was just bad. Was I just supposed to play Brainstone? I identified Stubborn Denial as a thing they might have. And now I feel like my shields are totally down for a turn cycle, when I could have just never lost to that card ever. Tribal Flames. They know they're good. I go to 9. I have high confidence Jace the Mind Sculptor will resolve here. If they Mana Tithe me, I deserve whatever happens in my life. Jace, get in. Bounce the Nacatl. A sturdy 8 life. And then a blind Counterbalance. If there's a 1 on top, I'll feel good about everything. Here we go. Moment of truth. Flooded Strand on top. Can't catch a break around here. That means Jace will probably also die, unless they just burn me out to my face. Yeah, they don't even care about Jace. They're just like, hey, die. Lightning Bolt does it here. Yeah, I think I blew it on that Teferi play. I acted like, of course, I'm going to curve out against Zoo, but perhaps it was just stone wrong to do that. Now I feel silly that Teferi turn flipped everything, and we could have pretty easily won the game if I just played Brainstone and then bounced, and then they didn't have instants, and then etc. Okay. House Terminus Solitude. None of those were forthcoming in that game. Let's try to change that. I have to imagine Leyline is in their deck, and Scion of Draco is part of the plan. Stern Scolding counters Wild Nacatl. Nishoba Brawler, it does not counter. Territorial Kavu. I have to look at the text of that card. It is a star, which means it does not counter it. Alright, this card's probably bad. Logic not, probably whatever. Subtlety I like. Big Teferi might be bad, but I can never cut that card. You have to believe in something in this world. Terminus is really good, even if they have Leyline. Wear Terror hits Leyline of the Guild Pact and Leyline Binding, and Scion of Draco if they don't have Leyline of the Guild Pact. Teferi can bounce the thing, the Leyline, and any other card. I think I'm just going to go in like this, make the 1 change. This hand is deeply mid, but I am going to keep it. They did not Leyline of the Guild Pact. May or may not be in the deck. Domain Zoo was a deck before that card existed. Steam Vents is the start. Ragavan. Yuck. Hate that card. Okay, Meticulous Archive saved me. I get 2 looks here at something that does anything. Archive, revealed Counterspell. That card doesn't help. I'm going to get rid of it. That card also doesn't help. But I will play Counterbalance, at least try to get ahead of the Rag beats. You can get hit by Ragavan a few times, and it's not the end of the world. It would be the end of the world if they flipped Teferi and cast it and bounced my Counterbalance. I would not be happy in that world. They flipped a Counterspell. I didn't want that. Basic Plains, Doorkeeper Thrall. I revealed Oust. Doorkeeper Thrall's interesting. I guess that turns off Solitude and Subtlety. You got it. There's the Oust. I believe I'm supposed to oust Ragavan. Take that pressure off. And then I can get Brainstone in. And now I have a fetch to select. I have a turn before Ragavan's back. Overgrown Tomb fills out the domain. Oh, Ragavan's back now. I think it is worth the look to try to deal with this thing now. Get the extra looks worth of selection rather than try to blind reveal. Subtlety into the graveyard and use Counterbalance. Revealing Solitude. Life is Pain. That also means they're going to flip Solitude when they hit me with Ragavan here. Which, if they have a white card to pitch, they can. Alright, yeah, and they're Leyline Binding now. While they know I can't counter it. Yeah, if they have a white card to pitch, they could play Solitude here and keep the 3-2 lifelink. Because, or wait, is it a... No, it's all. Yeah, it's all. Or else the Phyrexian Dreadnought deck wouldn't work. Drawing a new card. Teferi Time Raveler. Interesting. Okay, Teferi could bounce Leyline Binding, get back Counterbalance. I don't think that does anything, though. I could also just replay Counterbalance and Brainstone to move cards around. Running out of life points, though. Another Binding. I am going to blind reveal. Counterspell on top. Okay. All right. Another one of those gone. Ragavan can dash and take a Counterspell if it wants. That card is not helping me. I have been deathly picked apart by this Ragavan, though. Well, the second Ragavan. The first one came down on turn 1. I answered that, and then they dashed underneath it. Well, I'll fetch in response to this Pithing Needle. And then I'm going to activate Brainstone, because this is not getting better. Oust and Teferi Time Raveler. I'm going to put back Basic Plains and Hallowed Fountain, and if Ragavan's going to hit me, they're going to get a Hallowed Fountain. They named Teferi Time Raveler. Disappointing. That's a card in my hand. Ragavan is dashing through. Okay, I can play Teferi Time Raveler, who does not have any abilities, but can just be in play. And I could oust the Doorkeeper Thrall. Might as well. Take some pressure off wherever I can. Cycling Surveil Triome. Okay. Opponent finally showed a moment of having a card in their hand that wasn't great. Shocked in Temple Garden. Doorkeeper Thrall's back. Still dashing Rag, going down to 0 cards in hand. I would rather use Meticulous Archive to select for my own useful cards rather than try to brick my opponent's cards, and they hit basically the best thing they could from Hellbent, which is a bunch of card selection and card advantage. If they want to use their treasures, which I would. Confirmed. Bottomed both. And I get to fetch a Meticulous Archive here. Try to find a good card. Opt. If I keep this, Opt looks at 2 cards. If I put it in the graveyard, I draw 1 random card. So I guess keeping it is correct. I could just play Kahira right now. Just have it in play. Or I could try to opt at instant speed and flip a Terminus. I could opt now and maybe hit a Jace. I think there's more good hits now. Bottom Thundering Falls, hit Counterbalance. Okay, here we are. Back to hoping there's the correct mana value on top of my deck. Here is in my hand. I am dead to Tribal Flames. Here's the Rag. Reveal. Polluted Delta. I think as good as Counterbalance was last game, it is that bad this game. I'm dead to most things here. And now they have mana up to sacrifice Omen of the Sea, even if I can clear this Pithing Needle somehow. Which I don't even know if my deck's capable of doing. Oh, okay. Found Lightning Bolt. All right. Yeah, get me out of here. I definitely messed up game 1. I should have played around the Stubborn Denial that I said out loud and then just rammed into. And game 2, maybe I'm supposed to mulligan this hand. Feel like played pretty well with the cards that were given, but opponent danced around the counterbalance extremely well. I couldn't hit a blind flip to save my life. They did blind name on Pithing Needle, a card that was actually in my hand that I was counting on. They never sat the Ragavan in play, where Sorcery Speed removal could get it. They dashed it every time. So, yeah, opponent played well, and I didn't, and we lost. On to the next. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. On the play in round 3, I'm going to keep my hand. I've been pretty good at both winning the die roll and having turn 2 counterbalance. Let's see if I can convert it this time. Just going to pass with my Surveil land available. Wooded Foothills, and a pass. Get the archive. Scald Tarn I will keep. Now I have the option of holding up Counterspell and Omen of the Sea if they don't do anything, and plan for like a turn 4 counterbalance with manipulation. And given how gnarly Wrenn and 6 was in round 1, I think having the option here is worth pursuing. This is Wrenn and 6 mana. That's not a Wrenn and 6. I can just bounce that with Teferi. Yeah, I'm going to let that stick and then use Omen. I think I just jam Counterbalance if I don't have Omen as a backup plan here. But being able to use my mana no matter what is pretty sick. I do want land number 4. I don't want it to be this. I'm going to bottom both of these, actually. I found land number 4 and land number 5. I'm mostly just trying to tread water until I can Terminus their whole life away. Expressive Iteration, okay. They're giving up on Scion for the turn. Can't cast that off 1 land, no matter what happens. Steam Van shucked it in. Bolting Teferi, sure. He's done his job. And them not immediately redeploying the thing there means that I can develop Counterbalance and hold up Counterspell. Obviously, Counterbalance is not going to get Scion of Draco. That card costs 12. Even when it costs 2, it costs 12. Expressive Iteration. I could give this a blind flip. I'm gonna. Revealed Oust. Okay. There's a 1 on top. I can counterspell Scion of Draco. I don't mind EI resolving so much. I'll catch up to that with the Jace in a minute here. Also, knowing Oust is on top, I don't even necessarily need to counter the Scion now. Leyline Binding is revealed. This is going to take my counterbalance. I actually do want to counter this card. And now I start with Jace, activate Brainstorm, put Plains Oust on top, and I have the ability to fetch if they do something that costs more than 1. The counterbalance protects Jace from Lightning Bolt, which is the thing that you usually don't want to zero Jace right away because of. Here's Rag. Get you out of here. Scion resolves. There's no 12s to pursue here. Okay. Now I am going to fetch looking for Terminus, because I think Terminus ends this game. I get a bunch of looks at 4 copies of this thing. Ridiculous Archive. Flooded Strand into the graveyard. Flip the Terminus, let's go. Brainstone. Okay, Jace is going to Brainstorm. I could still draw the Terminus now. Teferi. Interesting. I could put back both archives. Fetch. Cast Teferi. Is there something to do with Brainstone and Omen here to get extra looks at Terminus, is the question. I could put back Archive Brainstone and tuck one of the Scions with Teferi. Then I lose one of my Planeswalkers, but keep the other one. I'm going to try that. Plussing Teferi also results in keeping one and losing the other, but I'd rather have them have fewer cards in play. Going straight for Jace. Could not be talked out of it. Shocked and Watery Grave. Territorial Kavu. I think it is more important to me to protect Teferi from Lightning Bolt than it is to try to get a flip on this Kavu, because I'm looking for Terminus anyway. which I guess doesn't matter if I fetch in the end step. All right, I'm going to fetch in the end step. I'm looking for Terminus. Archive, look at Oust. That's the same card that was just there. I will actually keep Oust there. So I get a redraw here, then I get more looks. I get to untap my lands, plus Teferi, Counterbalance, Omen. There's Terminus. Top. There is a 6 on top of my deck right now. Play Basic Island. Play Counterbalance. Get another one, just in case. If I oust one of these creatures, I would prefer they're just in play, I think. Oh, I could have put Kahir in my hand. I forgot I was about to untap. That was a spew. They're attacking Teferi with everybody. Discard a card, draw a card. I wish that was for me. Let's hope they add more creatures to the board here. Scion of Draco resolves. Play some more creatures. Run them out. What could go wrong? That's the Scion I talked earlier. And I will reveal Terminus to my draw. I have multiple ways to fight over a counterspell if they do have Stubborn Denial kind of things here. A counterspell, I get one free reveal. Revealed Solitude on top of my deck. I can scry, or I could just counterspell this. I'm going to counterspell. Okay, all those are gone. Solitude's on top. That's a good one to have. Do I want to run Jace into potential counterplay? I think I just put Kahira in my hand. And I could Meticulous Archive and not bin the Solitude. Just going to keep it on top. That card's really good. Okay. Found a moment where tapping out felt safe. Let's see if I die. Triple Tribal Flames. Right to the dome. Scion of Draco. They've had a lot of those this game. Luckily, no support from a Leyline, though. Some Murktide Regent. Blue. Long pause. Okay. They got one card left. Alright, I have to answer the Scion first because Murktide has Hexproof. Clever. I'm going to cast the Solitude. Get rid of Scion. See what you got for this Oust. Appears to be nothing. Okay. They're drawing Murktide turn after next. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. We get a blind reveal. Revealed Flooded Strand. Curses. Costs 3 to scry 2. No love there. I do have Jace and Kahira. I'm going to start with Kahira, get my attack through. That's free money. They're drawing Murktide Regent this turn. Unless I plus it away on them. Which I am going to do. Put that to the bottom. They get a Fable trigger. Dumped Leyline. Kept the other card. Leyline Binding. I get one free look. Terminus. Scalding Tarn. Alright, then one look that costs a Surveil. Terminus. Counterbalance to the graveyard. Reveal Terminus. Nope, Jace the Mind Sculptor is the top card of my deck. That's so funny. Alright, you can have this one, I guess. Top of my deck costs 4. And they've got another Fable. Okay. Our engines are certainly on. This is a slugfest. Though I have Jace the Mind Sculptor when the dust settles here. Jace. Plus target you. I will put Expressive Iteration on the bottom. That card's really good. And I get to keep pushing damage. They don't have any good blocks. They want to delete their whole squad here. I'm fine with that. Cool. Alright, we're back to chilling. They get a re-look here off of the second Fable that goes to Chapter 2. And they get the 2/2 body. I'm almost out of ways to win the game, so I do need to consider that. That's bad news. Okay, I get one free reveal. Showed a Flooded Strand. Then I can scry 2. Come on, Terminus. Alright, Teferi Time Raveler. Bottom of the Flooded Strand, top the Teferi Time Raveler. That will bounce the Leyline Binding, get me another Jace activation, and get me a card deeper. Teferi, bounce Leyline Binding, get back Jace, who can put Terminus on top of the deck. This is cool. Put back Polluted Delta and... Or do I want to bounce this Reflection? I don't think I do. Wait, can they do the Reflection trick? Yeah, okay. I actually do need to clear these Reflections. I put back Delta and Terminus. And I'm going to oust this Reflection and attack for 3. Okay. Now my Planeswalker's up and protected. Preordain. Not going to reveal for that. Opponent's deck is really cool. It's a grindy EI reflection of the Mirror Breaker control deck that's also a Scion of Draco strategy. Cool stuff. Put that away. They started to tap mana, then untapped it. But we're at my turn now. I'm not going to Terminus, of course. And I can plus this to Fairy. I can play this to Fairy. Bounce Reflection. Brainstorm with Jace. Float a 3 on top. Counters the reflections that are in their hand, both of them. Poke for 3 with Kahira, and we're about out of here. I have Lethal. 2 of their 3 cards in hand get countered by my Counterbalance. Reveal Teferi. Goodbye. And they have a Flooded Strand. I'm just going to flash in Solitude and win the game. Target nothing. This is 7 damage. That's their life total. And we're in the red zone, and they're dead. Cool. All right, that was a fun game. I'm a little behind on clock. There are Leyline Binding and Leyline of the Guild Pact deck. I like the Wear Tears here. I don't think I'm that heavy on Dovin's Veto, though the Fable of the Mirror Breakers are really good, and they have counterspells of their own. Territorial Kavu and Scion, though, also confirmed. They've got a lot of creatures and a lot of spells that I care about. I think Logic Knot could come out. Maybe like 1 Oust. I think I shave a Counterbalance here because they have 12s and 6s in the deck. And I did counter a 6 that game, but that doesn't mean I should rely on it. Brainstone also seems mid. I could just go 2 and 2 here, kind of split it up. But I actually like the Wear Tears more than I like the Dovin's Veto. Okay, I'm going to do it like this. I could see arguments for subtlety, but at some point, what am I cutting from my deck? All right, Grip full of white removal. Keeping this. We've got a Wooded Foothills. We're going to see the Feared Ragavan start. Indeed we are. Good hand to have Oust against. There's 1 Hallowed Fountain for exactly this emergency. That thing will be back, though. That problem's not solved. They get to draw Ragavan next turn. Territorial Kavu. Though I boarded out an Oust, I'm still glad I have the ones that I have. Oh, even better. Just going to Terminus this thing. I get that out of there. They could start dashing Rag if they want. Seems they do want. Top does not control the top card of your deck. Either I bottom the card and then it's random, or I top the card then draw it. So I'm just going to let Ragavan hit me here. Exile a Scalding Tarn. I won't miss it. End of turn opt. They shocked in Breeding Pool. We know counterspells in their deck. Solitude's a good one. Yeah, like running this Teferi into counterspell isn't what I want to be doing, but also I'm not doing anything else. Oh wow, they're just resolved with no arguments at all. I'm just going to minus and draw a card. I'm not going to bounce their treasure because they could float mana and stuff my draw, which is completely free for them to do. But I do have Solitude now. Let's see if they're prioritizing Teferi or Ragavan hits. They are going after Teferi. I could let this happen. They shocked in that Breeding Pool so hard, though. I'm going to Solitude, exiling Wear Tear. I have hopes for this Dovin's Veto. The re-Raganing. Teferi makes Oust a lot better. Plus Teferi. I'm going to Omen and try to hit a land drop. We did it. Top. Do I want this Counterbalance? I'm going to bottom Counterbalance and draw the planes. I know I'm eventually going to need this Jace online. Oust the Ragavan. Opponent's back to 21. Fable the Mirror Breaker. They got me good. That is exactly what I boarded in Dovin's Veto for, but they got to go first. Oh. Do I want to do this? Yeah. Terminus that. Plus Teferi. I have Dovin's Veto up. I think holding Veto is better than putting Kahira in my hand right now, because I can also scry if they don't make me Veto. And I'd hate to have to watch another Fable the Mirror Breaker resolve here. They are ahead on cards, though. All of the exchanges that have happened in this game so far have benefited them. I need to resolve Jace and then get card advantage with it. Shocked and Hallowed Fountain. They might cast a Leyline here. Dashing Ragavan. Hate that for me. Oh, right. I knew they were drawing that. That's correct. And they've decided... Oh, they're backing off. I was about to say they decided to hit Teferi instead of me, but they are going for me. And I'm not going to scry because I still have hope for Dovin's Veto. Exiled an island. Kind of wanted that, but I have more. Leyline Binding. They veto that shit. Counterspell. That's good against Ragavan. Plus Teferi. Okay. I found an answer to Ragavan, which is the thing I'm currently worried about, because I can answer most other things at sorcery speed with a bounce from my various planeswalkers. Pick my poison. Each opponent sacrifices an enchantment. You got my omen. I got your monkey. Okay, time to pull ahead on cards. Bounce the reflection. Drawing Counterspell is so good here. Yeah, I guess I just counter the reflection on the way back down. Jace will be in my hand whenever I get around to him. They're down to 2 cards in hand. They didn't have a follow-up there. I hope their 2 cards in hand are counterspells, and this Teferi is just dominating. That's what I would like to be happening right now. And I'm actually going to fetch a basic island to play Jace with, because I can oust to protect Jace if they have a haste creature of some kind. Ah, they're just scoop into the Jace. They don't want to see it. I was about to start plussing them. And we're good. Let's go. On to the next round. The NYSE Open is a prestigious, long-running vintage tournament based out of New York City. It's returning again this summer, June 22nd, 2024 in Plainview, New York. This 15 proxy event has a $500 entry. That's a lot of money, but what are we playing for? First place gets a Black Lotus. Second through 8th place get Time Twister, Time Walk, and all 5 Moxen. At 115 players, a playset of Bazaar Baghdad is added to the prize pool. At 135, 4 Mishra's Workshops. At 155, 4 foil Gaia's Cradle. This prize pool is better than Eternal Weekend. If you think it's worth playing for, sign up for the event on melee.gg or use the link in the video description, and I will definitely see you there. I'm on the draw for round 4, but I do still have turn 2 Counterbalance. Darkslick Shores. Alright, well, this matchup is probably unwinnable. I don't have any specific sideboard for it, and it's horrendous. Omen of the Sea, put that in the graveyard. Hate to mill myself, but casting that card also removes a card from my deck. Oh no. We're already dead. And they have a double crab start. Basically all you can hope for with mill is that they're on a spell game and they're not doing a lot of crab stuff, because I don't have a bunch of creature removal for this. And they just milled all of my Jaces. Yeah, I can concede this game. We are absolutely not going to win it. All they have to do is play lands. That was a nightmare. Yeah, this is just one of those things that unfortunately happen sometimes in Modern, and especially when I'm recording a Modern League where it's like, I have no plan for mill. It's a tiny percentage of the metagame. Having a plan for mill is usually a waste of time, but also, like, you're never beating it. So, get wrecked, me. Stern Scoldings, Dovin's Vetoes, Terminus can come out. That is not what I mean by answering the crabs. Oust, I don't entirely hate. Teferi protects me from Mindbreak Trap, not Mindbreak Trap, Archive Trap. Also Mindbreak Trap, but I don't expect them to have that card. Counterbalance, probably pretty good. Maybe I can go down and oust. I'm going up 3 Stern Scolding, which is how I'd prefer to answer a crab. Solitude answers crab. Also, Solitude's also my win con. Is Teferi Hero of Dominaria even a win con here? Because if I have to plus draw 4 cards to get this to ultimate, and then draw cards to start exiling their permanents, I don't even think Teferi is a card I can play. Subtlety could add to the clock, though. If I'm just in full Insano, how do I win this game mode? Rainstone, Omen, Teferi, plus 3 subtleties. Just anything with power and toughness. Okay, this hand can answer a crab. I'm going to keep it. Play my archive. I'll keep that there. Don't want to help them mill. And land is just fine. Sheldock Isle. Teferi turns that off. Anything that is conceivably, even remotely, a positive exchange is what I'm looking for in this matchup. Even something as simple as Teferi turning off the hideaway ability of Sheldock Isle. I'm going to shock in Hallowed Fountain because my life total doesn't matter, and they might have Archive Trap. They Polluted Delta go. Thundering Falls. I am going to play Thundering Falls instead of fetching here, because I could play this whole game without ever exposing myself to Archive Trap starting next turn. Stern Scolding's on top of my deck, which means there's a 1 for counterbalance purposes. And they're fracturing my sanity. That's fine. There's no longer a 1 on top. Or there might be, but I don't know that. Hedron Crab. All right, deck, let's do it. Reveal the 1. Scalding Tarn. Boo. Boo. Visions of Beyond. Okay, this is just cycling 1. That's not very good. And they don't have a land drop. That means their hand is full of spells, though. Hopefully all of those spells are Archive Traps, because I'm about to shut down the shop here. Unless I get forced or subtletied. Bounce the Crab. Get it back out of play. It's another chance for me to counter it. And I can Solitude it starting next turn. I have a lot of cards in my deck and a lot of power and toughness, all things considered, that it's turn 4 and I'm this creatureless control deck. I am going to do a manipulation here and try to make sure this has the best chance of working. Subtlety. Alright, Subtlety into the graveyard. Counterbalance. Help me out here. Reveal. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Curses. Well, they didn't have a land last turn. Do they have one now? Archive Trap. Oh, right. They could do that on their own turn. Shit. I played around it so hard. Yeah, I forgot you could just cast that at sorcery speed. Here I am acting like a genius. Well, they did just mill me in between counterbalance activations, so now this might get countered. Nope. Teferi on top. I was supposed to fetch on my turn. Whoops. Surgical Extraction targeting counter spell. Once again, revealing Teferi Time Raveler. Alright, my counter spells are gone. Teferi's no longer on top of my deck. The mana value of my deck is actually pretty high for Tasha's Hideous Laughter, because I have all these Solitudes and Planeswalkers and stuff. But they can plan out their whole game here. They know what's left in my deck and what my ways to win are and everything. Surgicaling my Subtleties now. This would be a great time to reveal a 1. Deck! That sucks. Now there's a card out of my actual hand. And threats out of my actual deck. Drawing Meticulous Archive, not a helpful card. I'm gonna fetch now, because I've learned my lesson. I'm gonna Solitude before they can untap and draw a land. I was feeling so smart until I forgot about Sorcery Speed Archive Trap. If I just had plus 13 cards in my deck right now, I'd feel really good. But instead, I feel really bad. They hit my basic planes on that mill. Drown in the Lock kills my Solitude, maybe. Counterbalance, please. Please. Yeah, we got one. Omen of the Sea. Put it in the graveyard. Okay, time to turn the corner and attack. Gonna fetch. I think there's 2 islands left. Yeah, okay. Nailed it. Grab Kahira plus play Kahira. Begin the beats. They are at 13. Down to 9. They're dead in 2 hits. Maybe. I have 20 cards in my deck, which means Sheldock Isle is air quotes on. Like, they could activate it. They just can't cast the spell. Maybe they don't know how Teferi works. That would be great. Milled Oust, Scalding Tarn Dovin's Veto off of a land drop, and Tasha's Hideous Laughter. Come on, 3s. Yeah! Teferi revealed. Counterbalance, kicking in. This is the only way this works. Okay. Now I bash. I'm not going to bounce the Hedron Crab. I would prefer it to chump block. Yeah, we got a chump block out of it. That doesn't change the clock on them. They're still dead next turn. But it does let me worry less about a land drop. Meticulous Archive sets up a 2 on top. I'm going to leave that there. And then I can Omen of the Sea to change that. But that turns off Drown in the Lock, which kills my threats, which is what I'm actually interested in right now. Okay, they've got a Hideous Laughter. I could actually figure out how many 3s are left in my deck right now. Probably should do that. There are 0 3s in my graveyard. There's 2 in my hand in play. There's none in exile. There are 4 total in my deck. Okay, well, I'm on a 2-outer here. I could just let Hideous Laughter resolve and see what happens. I think that's what I'm going to do. Please don't be worth 15. Yeah, not even close. Got 7 cards off me. Like I said, mana value in my deck's pretty high. Now they're fetching. And activating Shellduck Isle, which does not work. Nice try. They're about to learn a rules lesson. And then I will attack them for 7. Cool. All right. I forgot about how Archive Trap you could just cast it. Oh, I boarded out into Teferi too. I was actually hitting a 1-outer if I tried to fight over that Hideous Laughter. Okay. A lot of 2s in the deck. Brainstone's actually kind of sick. Oust on the draw. Like, Stern Scolding is better than Oust on the play. But I might have to get a Crab out of play. I'm willing to pitch a Solitude to do that, though. And Teferi turning off Archive Trap, if I remember how to play, plus Shellduck Isle, that actually does matter. Wear Tear is a 3 for purposes of Counterbalance, but it doesn't really have targets. I think I'm going to go plus Teferi minus another Omen and try it like this. This hand answers a Crab and answers a flurry of spells, or a spell, not a flurry of them. I'm going to keep. The Crabs are so dangerous that I'm just willing to 2-for-1 myself to remove one, if that's what the start of the game looks like. Yep, Crab confirmed. I'm going to see if I draw an Oust before I fire off on this thing. Nope. Okay. And I'm going to Solitude exiling Teferi right now before they can untap and do anything about it. There's a pause in my Incip. They're going to Surgical here. Yeah. Surgicaling my Solitudes takes away a lot of my win conditions. And they get to see my hand. But that is 2 cards gone out of their hand, and I've milled... I guess I've milled 3 cards, technically, because Surgical took 3 cards out of my deck. So my deck got smaller by 3 cards, and they spent 2 cards to do it. And they left the Solitude in the graveyard. That's probably on purpose. Sometimes that's a Moto misclick when somebody Surgicals you and leaves the card in the graveyard. But they do have cards that care about cards in the graveyard, like Drown in the Loch and Visions of Beyond. Okay. We'll see who they target with this, and that'll inform. Yeah, okay. That was entirely intentional, leaving the Solitude in the graveyard. But again, that's 3 cards now that they've used and milled 3 cards from my deck. Not a good rate of return. That's a Teferi for me. And I can Dovin's Veto a Archive Trap. I'm actually just going to fetch right now. They can't trap until the fetch resolves, and by then I'll have the counter up. And doing it now, it's 1 less card that could be Archive Trap in their hand. The Surveil's not that important to me right now. Cool. Another Soul Guide Lantern. What is the plan here? They're just really worried about an Eldrazi that I'm not playing. Yeah, they're stepping on their own Visions of Beyond at this point. Yeah, I'm just going to pass, leaving up Dovin's Veto. I'm not going to tap out for this Teferi and unlock a spell that doesn't have to be unlocked. Yeah, they're just drawing cards with Soul Guide Lanterns, taking their time. I am going to fetch a Meticulous Archive here. If they pivoted onto Tashana's Tidebinder, they got me. I've never seen Mill do that, but it would get the shit out of me here. Okay, did not get me. They can trap in response to this trigger. I am going to veto that. I think it's better to let the trigger resolve anyway. See if I want the card or not, then clear it. I do not want Flooded Strand. I don't like milling myself, but I also don't want Flooded Strand. Drew one anyway. Scoreboard. Shove Teferi. It might get drowned in the lock. Spell Pierce, that sucks. Okay. Not excited about that exchange. I am going to fetch now. They could have Archive Trapped me again last turn, and they didn't. Surgicaling Teferi's in response. You got it. They've cast 1 mill spell left. Meticulous Archive tapped. Basic Island. I don't want to draw this. I also don't want to keep milling myself, but I have milled myself. It's done. Okay, I'm tapped out. They have 1 card in their hand. They can redraw with Soul Guide Lantern. This has been a weird game. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards spent that have milled me for close to 0. Their plan makes a lot of sense if they thought they were going to have a Ruin Crab, though. Hideous Laughter hit me for 12 cards. Solitude's already out. 1 Jace is gone now. Hallowed Fountain. Yeah, I'm just going to play Hallowed Fountain. I'm not going to keep thinning my own deck here. Oh, 2 Jaces were hit, and a Subtlety. So I have 1 Jace, 2 Subtleties left to win this game with, and Kahira. They're cycling Fractured Sanity in their main phase, trying to hit a land drop or find something to do here. 22 cards left in my deck. Maybe I was supposed to flash in Subtlety in response to the cycle, because now if they've Drown in the Loch, they could cast it. Okay, Subtlety's in play. Who knows for how long? Black Mana's in the pool. Murderous Cut, that works. Don't have a lot of ways left to win. Okay, I'm gonna fetch for a basic and just put Kahira into play. There it is. 1 Subtlety, 1 Jace left in my deck. There's nothing else, right? Nope, I boarded out the big Teferi. Uh-oh, they're tapping mana, 3 of it. Fractured Sanity. 6 cards left in my deck. The Subtlety and the Jace are gone. 6 times 3 is 18. Oh, Miko Koro is going to fuck it up, though. Dang. Yeah, they're just activating Miko Koro now. Pretty sure I can't win this. That Dovin's Veto was a hot rip. Logic Knot also insane, but yeah. They got me with the tech land. At least they thought they did. I'm going to Logic Knot this. Do I exile my whole graveyard? What does that even do? I'm going to exile my Dovin's Veto at least, so they can't surgical it out. Definitely can't cast this Opt. All those fetches I talked about earlier in the Meticulous Archive, like I don't want to mill this, but it's not good right now. If I actually just had like +2 cards in my deck, we might be okay. That's going to kill me though. All right. No, we're good. You can stop. You can stop. What a horrendous matchup that is. Welcome to TopDeck.gg, your community's home for everything competitive Magic has to offer. If you're hosting an event, playing for a huge prize, or advertising your events to thousands of players, we've got you covered. Using intuitive pairing software, playing Magic is a breeze. Players just have to sign up online, then scan the QR code in-store. Give competitors the gift of perfect information as their bracket updates in real time. The self-reporting software saves you time and leaves paper match slips in the past. Leave the heavy lifting to TopDeck.gg so your community can relax and focus on playing Magic. I'm on the play in the final round, fully converting my 5-for-5 turn 2 counterbalance opportunities. Playing for a positive record. Opponent has 61 cards in their deck. 54 plus 7. If I were hyper in tune with the modern format right now, I might know what they were playing based on that. Once in a while, there's a deck in a format that some streamer or deck builder has just decided 61 is the correct number for. I'll keep Omen in the Sea. Mycosynth Gardens. All right, we've got some Amulet in the chat. This is an opponent that I would like to place Counterbalance into play against. They do have a reasonable number of zeros that are important to their deck, the Summoners packs, and Counterbalance does counter that by revealing lands. Just a little extra action. Amulet of Vigor. Please get it. Please get it. Please get it. Yeah, right in the graveyard. Revealing Oust. Got him. Free money. Simic Growth Chamber. And they're floating some mana. Explore. Well, you know it's a 1. Let's see how far this goes. Saga. And unfortunately, my Teferi is not castable off this Meticulous Archive right now. Terminus does counter Primeval Titan. That's pretty funny. I will put that on top. That's a big upside. And I can Omen in the Sea if it's wrong. Kind of hope they go for it here. There's a copy. Growth Chamber is good for 4. Pick that up. Dryad of the Elysian Grove. That costs 3. Maybe I was supposed to counterspell that. I'm just thinking about this Terminus so hard. How do they get from 1 mana to 6 here? Explore. That does it. Teleria West. 4 mana in the pool. The 1 ring. Well, I can't beat this card. I'm going to actually counterspell this. And I have to draw a Terminus here. I guess I just flip it and wipe out the Dryad. As sick as that would have been to reveal on a prime time. And all I can do here is pass. Well, I could Omen of the Sea, try to hit my land drop, but I think using Omen for some card selection on the Counterbalance interaction is going to be way more important. They have Growth Chamber, 3 mystery cards. Or no, Growth Chamber and Micah's... Nope, that's the Gardens. Growth Chamber, 3 mystery cards. Amulet number 3. Guaranteed 6 mana if they want it. Here it comes. Explore. This represents so much mana. This is a blind reveal. I'll at least send it on that. Terminus revealed. Hell yeah, another one. They're going to need Cavern of Souls. But now they know that. Both exciting and disappointing simultaneously. What? I'd like to reveal Terminus. Again, the same one I just revealed a moment ago. Remember that. And we're going again. Maybe they have another prime time. Hey, the Growth Chamber could pick up Teleria West this time and then transmute. And then we have to figure out the next prime time. But figuring out the next prime time mostly means having a 0 on top for the transmute. Nope, still picking up that thing. Arboreal Grazer resolves. Okay, 1 card left. It's 11 mana. That's enough to Teleria West, transmute. Now I have a small risk to consider. They could get Cultivator Colossus here. I'm going to Omen of the Sea and just hope that there is a land in my top 3 cards. Uh-oh. Bottom the Terminus. Do I want Jace? Deciding if I want Jace in my hand or just gone completely. I'll put him in my hand. And blind reveal. Come on, any land. Any land. Any land. Any land. Shit. Teferi was revealed. Okay. So they're going to get to... They could even primetime here if they want to pivot off of Colossus. All right, well, not revealing that Teferi again. If they get too greedy here, I could win by solituding the primetime. Because they have a pack to pay for next turn. I've got a 3 on top, so they can't Dryad. 1 card in hand. Mirror Pool, what the shit. Copy target creature. Oh, well. I guess I let them invest in Mirror Pool and then blow out the primetime. This is sack, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, there's no haste enabler here. It's a copy. And now I solitude, and does this win the game? Because I still have to pick up from Sanctuary. Hell yeah. All right, cool. Counterbalance made that just weird enough. The Wear Tears come in, the Subtleties come in. Dovin's Veto, I mean, it's not without targets, but it's also not great. Oust, the best thing Oust does in this matchup is pitch to Solitude, I think. The Counterbalance itself actually seems pretty bad here, even though it was good in that spot. Okay, Logic Knot, some of the Oust. Rainstone seems fine. Counterbalance does seem mid. I'm going to shave at least 1. Teferi's fine. Terminus, I'm going to shave on that too. I would like to have them around both as an emergency and as a 6 to reveal for Counterbalance. Vetoing the 1 ring's pretty important. That's a big target for veto. I think Brainstone, I want some vetoes in. We got to figure it out. Okay, thinner on Terminus. Big Teferi probably should come out. Probably shouldn't even be in the deck, but I am excited about that card anytime I have the possibility of playing it. Yeah, I cut Logic Knot and added Dovin's Veto. Does that make any sense? Logic Knot could hit Primetime, and they both could hit the 1 ring. Veto has staying power longer, and I'm going down another Oust and up another Veto. I've made my selections. This hand is not good. I'm going to mulligan. It just doesn't play the game. This one's much better. I'm going to keep this in bottom Terminus. Unfortunately, on the draw, Wear Tear, not as sexy as it could be. I could just tear this Earth's Saga right now. That sounds sick, though. Yeah, I'm just going to fetch Shock and destroy target enchantment. Bang. They also mulliganed. Hopefully that was a big setback. Otawara as their land. Drawing Polluted Delta means I don't have to think about Meticulous Archive. I can leave up Counterspell or Omen of the Sea and then curve into Teferi, even if I miss on a land. I don't think I'm countering an Explorer. Yeah, that shit doesn't matter. Island, Omen, Opt. I do like Opt. Don't need more lands here. I'm not going to tap out for Teferi, so I'll play Meticulous Archive. I'll get rid of Oust. Wasn't even sure I wanted them in the deck. They're not good in this spot. I'm ready to counter a 1 ring. Expedition Map. I'm not going to fight over that. Teferi is pretty good against Urza's Saga, which I suspect it's either Saga or Cavern would be my guesses. Yeah, Saga. Teferi can bounce that for a turn off. Ooh, Counterbalance. I am not prepared to use that right now. If I do stick to Teferi and they use that opportunity to resolve the 1 ring, that hurts. Oh, that's so sick. All right. Now if they replay Urza Saga to try to cast the One Ring. I can blow it out before it even learns how to make mana. And right now is what I'm talking about. Get rid of this. Before this trigger resolves, they can't cast the One Ring because they'll never have 4 mana. Big draw. And then I'm moving into representing Hardcast Subtlety for the rest of the game. Dryad's pretty good. Castle Garenbrig. Plus Teferi. Play Polluted Delta. I'm going to play a new Teferi and hold up Counterspell, bouncing this Dryad. I think that's my best way to keep the board clear while also moving the game forward. Amulet of Vigor. Don't really want to play against that card. It's fine though. It represents some mana, maybe, but it also might not represent mana depending on the quality of their hand right now. Dryad's back, counter that. And now we're moving into Subtlety Zone. Plus Teferi. Archive. Veto. I'll keep Veto on top. Just trying not to get ringed. And I have the Subtlety plus Jace 1-2 punch, so Primetime's actually gone if they put it on top. Veto that. And here I can play Jace. I might have to pitch cast Subtlety. It's a little dangerous. Now I don't mind that at all. Okay. Put back Solitude and the land. Okay. I can Subtlety at Primetime, veto anything else. I have 2 Planeswalkers if I untap again. Primeval Titan, Subtlety that. They have done a good job kind of seesawing me off of the mana I would like to be spending versus the mana I have to spend. There is a Primeval Titan on top of their deck right now. I'd like to look at that and then get rid of it. I can also delete Teferi to put Amulet back in their hand, which I think is fine. Their deck's not really known for its preponderance of instants I need to worry about. Amulet of Vigor. I am going to counter that. Shit. I'm such a dumb bitch. All right. Well, I worked hard for so long, and now I'm gonna die to the One Ring. Okay, Jace is just on plus mode forever now. I shouldn't have fallen for that amulet. I let it resolve the first time, because I identified that mana's not really the gate right now. That was stupid. Okay, I'm going to get Thundering Falls. I do have red cards in right now. Get rid of Polluted Delta, and I would like to scry too. Top the Opt, top the Subtlety. Subtlety's a good one to find. Guess I didn't need to top the Opt. I could Brainstorm this turn or plus myself. I can't plus them, but I could get Jace a turn. I think I'd rather just have cards worth of selection here. And I can opt now to get through these cards. Yeah, bottom this Opt, take this Scalding Tarn, play it. Okay. One Ring's happening. Amulet, that's fine. Not that I could fight over it, but it actually was fine the whole time. Gruul Turf. Spelunking. Yep, they can draw a card. Their lands come into play untapped if they want them to. Simic Growth Chambers in. Opting, of course, to put it in tapped, because that's just better for their deck. Explore. They activated Castle Garenbrig, then deactivated Castle Garenbrig. Just want more mana first, it seems. Picking up Otawara. Subtlety this Primeval Titan. Make you find another one of those. Put it on top. Fetch for Meticulous Archive. Scalding Tarn to the graveyard. Come on, deck. Give me the goods. Bonus Jace. Let's bottom this Primeval Titan. And attack for 3. I'm going to put Kahira in my hand, but I can't cast her because I might need Solitude this turn. They have this Otawara in hand. They can reset Jace at any point, or reset their One Ring at any point. Drawing 3. This is such a beating. If I just let that amulet resolve, this game's over 100 turns ago. That's one of the cardinal rules of playing these blue-8 control decks that don't have a lot of stuff going on. It's just like, does this kill me? You need to be able to answer that question extremely well. Does this kill me? Not, is this good for my opponent's deck in the abstract, like Amulet of Vigor on an empty board, but does this kill me? Primetime's in. With 2 amulets, I imagine they could come up with a stack here that presents a second Primetime if they need to. Yeah, I'm not gonna fight over anything yet. Transmuting Teleria West. Summoner's Pact. Summoning. Grabbed Cultivator Colossus. With their land drop, they can make Plenty of mana for that thing. Arboreal Grazer. They're not done yet. They're showing me what happens when the One Ring resolves. Alright, gotta read Cultivator Colossus. Power and toughness equal to lands. When it enters the battlefield, you put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. If you do, draw a card and repeat this process. I don't believe this is tied to the Cultivator Colossus being in play. That is all one trigger attached to the one card. Here comes their whole deck. They put a bunch of lands into play that do not grant haste or copy Primeval Titan. I'm sure they're not done yet because they just drew however many cards that was also. Picked up Otawara. That thing's back. Also managing the clock here. I am up a game, and I'm up 5 minutes. Dryad of the Elysian Grove, okay. Primeval Titan, okay. I'm going to let these two Valakuts come into play, and then Solitude the Dryad. But this is only one Valakut. It does trigger Valakut twice. Okay, time to play the card that I have. This is hilariously low impact versus what they've done. But F6 from here. They can Otawara their own homie and do it all again. Yep. Alright, that's fine. I take 0 damage from this exchange for now. The Otawara is spent. They can Dryad again. Then they'll have one more land drop after that. There's the Dryad. Here's Vesuva, which will copy Valakut, which can kill my 2 creatures. Or just go face. Yep. Alright, they're not done yet. Another Dryad. And they put... I can't tell what land they played. They played Boseiju. I'm at 1. And they have Explore, as long as there's a land in their hand, and there is. Okay, this game brought to you by me playing bad. Okay, sideboard games. Game 3. Dovin's Veto. The One Ring won that game. The other things happened too, but the One Ring is what happened that game. I'm going to get rid of the last Oust here. +1 Veto. I feel like Logic Knot actually should be in the deck because it hits the Dryads and stuff early on. I know Big Teferi is the right call. I just can't admit it to myself. Could be Little Teferi. Bouncing an Urza Saga or whatever is cool, but Little Teferi is mostly low impact here. This hand is bad. It gets a lot of selection, but this Terminus in hand is a brick. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, this is way better. Love seeing that Wear Tear in the opening grip. Bottom, a Polluted Delta. Oh, they've got Gemstone Caverns. What a boss. Pitching Summoner's Pact. Okay. I'm going to lead on the Thundering Falls, give myself a chance at red mana. I do like that subtlety. See if I get turn 1. Okay, Expedition Map is not how a turn 1 kill happens. They picked up the Gemstone Mine. That's funny. Or Gemstone Cavern. Okay. Options include just smashing this Expedition Map or chilling. I'm going to chill. Caverns are back. Spelunking. Okay, this is why I chilled. Sanctuary. Yeah, that comes in untapped, though. Dang. Alright, never mind. Killed for no reason. There is an enchantment and an artifact to kill and play, though. I'm going to get a Meticulous Archive and then cast Opt. Subtlety on top. Can't have enough of those. Put it in my hand. Draw for turn. Okay. I can destroy Spelunking and Amulet of Vigor if I need to. I cannot counter a One Ring if they place one on the stack here. Tutored Urza's Saga. That is, unfortunately, a second artifact. Or a second enchantment, not another artifact. Okay, that's an artifact. I'm going to respond to Saga's ability. I think I destroy Saga and Amulet rather than the Spelunking. Use 1, 2. Yeah, that cuts off the path to 4 mana this turn. That's a pretty good enchantment also. And copied my Meticulous Archive. Looking for some action. Alright. And they've been to Vesuva. I'm just going to play Island and pass. I'm really worried about the One Ring. I just have not found any answer to that this game. Dryad attacks. There's no good block here, so I'm not going to try. God damn it. Yep, there's that card. And Selesny's Sanctuary picks up Meticulous Archive, which is a Vesuva, which could be a different land later, and makes a bunch of mana, and etc. And they found an Amulet of Vigor. So all I can do here is play Jace and Brainstorm. put back Meticulous Archive and Island. Plan to fetch Meticulous Archive. Yeah, I'm losing this game. Primeval Titan. Well, subtlety that. I am required by law. Explore draws the prime time immediately. They can't play it, but it is safe from Jace. As far as they know. I know I have another subtlety. Another amulet. Last card in hand is prime time. Meticulous Archive. I'm on deck, let's rally back. I will put Solitude on top of my deck. Plus Jace, target you. You're drawing a forest. And 2 other cards, but I gotta do what I gotta do here. If they don't tap their One Ring, if they just play Primetime, then they never have to worry about Jace. They're in a spot where they don't need more cards to make their game function. And this is exactly what's happening. Now I have to decide if Solitude or Subtlety is actually better. I guess it's gotta be Subtlety. And they can just draw this again. But this stops them from attacking Jace this turn. And if they just draw any soul land, they win right now. Yeah, there we go. Okay, whatever. All right. We lost this game to the One Ring. I even boarded in more answers to it and just didn't have one at the time that they had it. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan differently or prioritize things differently. It did mulligan, though. Yeah, maybe that was too easy of a Primeval Titan. Just 3 looks or 2 looks at any soul land. And now we just lose. This kills Subtlety and Jace, or they could just go face if they want to win this turn. Oh yeah, this is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know. I'm just gonna pass priority and let them figure out how to kill me. They are going face, not at Jace or Subtlety with these Valakuts. This is not enough mana to mirror pool with. Oh, they still had a land drop. Right, Dryad, yeah. And a second. Remember when they had no cards in their hand 1 second ago? And they're just like, I need a soul land or a Keru to function here. And they drew 1. So the 2 draws off of the One Ring. There was Primeval Titan, then 2 random draws. It was Simic Growth Chamber and Selesnya Sanctuary. Cool. All right, yeah, we're dead. And they have plenty of time to click through their Valakut triggers. Can't even play to that cheeky little out. Okay. This deck felt like I was wading through mud to get anything done. And Modern is an insanely powerful, proactive format where the sit back and let your opponent kind of play into your clutches game plan doesn't really work most of the time. You need to be doing something insane on the crackback. Like there was a blue-white control, Jeskai control deck that I think won the Canadian Regional Championship last season when it was Modern, and that was a Days Undoing deck. They were a deck not that dissimilar to this one on paper, but the eject button of, and now I win, is really important. Or blue-white control decks that play their own copies of the One Ring, or the 4-color control decks that play Omnath. All of that sort of stuff that can change the gear of a game, where it's not just make the binary choice of, am I dead here? Yes or no. Can I answer it? Yes or no, until one of you loses. I did not play perfectly in this league. I played straight into a Stubborn Denial that I identified was likely in that one Zoo matchup, and then I boarded in Dovin's Veto for specifically the One Ring, and then cast it on a spell that wasn't the One Ring, and lost game 2 of that Titan matchup. So 2 of these losses definitely could have been played differently. If you are super tight, you do the work, and you know exactly what matters against every deck with this kind of strategy. But I think that like, if your goal is to win the most matches of Modern, I would choose a different deck. If your goal is to counter spells with Counterbalance, and you really want to make this work, and you're fine going like 3-2 or 4-1 or whatever in most of your leagues, then this deck is pretty cool. We did have some hero moments with Counterbalance. We had some completely just playing with your food style games where I had Counterbalance in play, 2 Planeswalkers, and could change the top card of my deck to any of 3 or 4 mana values. Those games did happen, and they were a lot of fun when they did happen. We got some heroic blind hits. We also got some miserable blind misses. I think being in this much trouble to resolved permanent in the format of Ragavan, Orcish Bowmaster, One Ring, Primeval Titan, etc., is probably not a good position. But with perfect play, you could probably figure out what's very essential in every matchup and how to play around it. I'm going to leave this here. This was a lot of work for very little gain, and that's the miracle way. Nick, thank you for sharing it. Everyone, thank you for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out the Patreon. I'll see you next time.